Hey Jackal! In today's video, I'll show you the fast forward film effect that you can make in DaVinci Resolve, and it can look something like this. That's what we'll be making today, and if you liked what you saw, follow along, and let's get digital. Now the overlay that you see, you can make this yourself. You can also use an image. What I've used is a plugin called Dehancer. And let me just show you what the plugin will remove. Basically everything. Now if you do want the plugin, it's a film emulation plugin, so you have a lot of overlays and effects. And you can watch my review video of Dehancer. The latest tool that they've added is this Overscan, which is the film strip overlay, and it has a bunch of effects. But I was missing the animation. So that is what I'll be doing today. So let me get rid of the effect, show you what the effect looks like without any overlays. And what I didn't do, but you can do, is turn this fusion composition into a template, and you'll be able to adjust the speed of the animation, and we can also add something else. So let's go make the effect. We'll need to go to the media pool, right click, make a new fusion composition. Once you have it, put it onto a timeline. I will simply extend it, and you'll also need a video clip that you'll put into the fusion composition so that you can use it. Now go into the fusion page, open the media pool, find the video clip that you want to use. So in my case, the original is this one. We need to move the video, so we need the transfer node. I'll simply connect it like so and display it on the left. I will go to the beginning, so frame 0. I will keyframe the center position and will be moving the Y value. Now I want the default animation to last for 2 seconds. So in this case it's frame 60 because my timeline frame rate is 30 frames per second. And I will position this down. So in this case this will be minus 0.5. So this is the animation and it stops, but we need to repeat it indefinitely. So I'll go to spline, go to displacement, click on the 3 dots to enable show only selected tool. Select the tool. You can use zoom to fit, and you can use this button to select all the points, and we'll use set loop. And we get a smooth playback. Now we need something else to fill this space in, and we'll use another transfer node and repeat the process. So add the transfer node number 2, connect it. I will display it on the right side. And what we need to do, I've set the spline a little bit too fast. So maybe I'll just delete it for now, remove it I mean. So with the second transform on frame 60, this will be fully visible. But it has to disappear on frame 0, so it has to be on the top. So let's position the second transform to the top. So this will be 1.5, and I have to keyframe the value, I forgot to do it. Go to frame 60 and set the Y value to 0.5. So this is how the animation will look like. As you can see, they pretty much move in line. But after frame 60, we'll have to repeat the animation. So now with the node selected, I'll go with this one, select all of the points, click set loop, and do the same with this one, select all of the points, and set loop. So now we have a repeating animation, and all we have to do is merge these 2 transforms together. So I'll do that, display the result on the right side. So now this is all good, but the animation is maybe a little bit too slow. So what we need to do somehow is to adjust this keyframe. Now I could adjust it here in the spline. I could go to the keyframes select the last keyframe and adjust it, and this spline animation is adjusted automatically. So the bottom clip is moving faster, the top one I would still need to change, but we need a better way to do this so we don't have to go into the Fusion page and make these adjustments. So what we'll do is in the transform, we'll go to the modifiers because this is animated, and we'll go to the displacement, right click, insert, and select Anim Curves. And inside the Anim Curves, we have the time scale option. One is default, and this is the default speed. If we want to speed this up, we'll simply increase the value, maybe to 2, and see what happens. So it does exactly what we want. Now we can't go in negative. As you can see, nothing happens if the value is negative. So the value can go from 0 to whatever you want. I'll just leave it 1 for now. We'll do the same for transform 2. So we'll add a anim curve so we can also adjust this clip. And now what I want to do is to adjust both clips at the same time and only do it once. So I don't have to change the time scale of one transform and then also change the other one. Now what I'll do, I'll use the transform 1 node, right click on it, and go to edit controls. I will type in the name of the control. This can be animation speed or scroll speed. This will be a number. This will go to the control tab or controls page. It will be animatable. Now the range that I want this to go from is 0 and the maximum maybe 20, and I'll use the same values for the allowed. And you can either use a slider control. If you use a slider control, it's this one. And if you use a screw control, it will look like this one. In this case, I'll just use a slider control, and also I will set the default value to 1. Click OK, and the control should appear down here. And when you double click on it, it will go back to 1. Now when you hover over the control, take a look at the bottom left, down here, and you will have the node name, transform1.scrollSpeed. So we'll need to use this name in an expression. So in the modifiers, so I'll now put an expression into timescale, type in equals and press enter, or right click and choose expression. And inside here, I'll simply use transform1.scrollSpeed. And now as you can see, the value of the timescale has changed. And this will affect how fast this one moves. Position back that to 1. Now I'll simply do the same in the transform2 node. Go to the modifiers and change the timescale node. This time I'll use right click and expression, just so you can see it's the same. So we have scroll speed. Now I have changed the timescale in both the transforms, and when I go to transform 1, the scroll speed, and play this back, you will see that this will change the speed. And because we have this set to animatable, we can now also animate this. Now I'd have to eyeball this a little bit. So this is where the animation would end. You would keyframe this as 0 and 1 frame back. This would be 1. Now what we can also do, in this case the animation goes from top to bottom, but we can make it so the animation goes from bottom to top. In this case we would have to invert both transforms. Now to do this easily, because I've added the control here, I'll simply use this transform node. Otherwise I could use another checkbox and link both invert transforms to that checkbox. So what I'll do is I'll pin transform to node, right click on the invert transform and click expression and connect it to the invert of transform 1. So in this case, when I select transform 1, both the invert options are checked. So we can now also switch from top to bottom animation or bottom to top. Now this could be it for the effect, but what you can notice is that the clip speed stays the same. So what we can do is also speed up the clip when the scrolling speed is fast. The way that we could do this the easiest, but we can't, is if we could use the time speed node, because we could simply adjust the speed. But as you will see, if I type in equals, I can't put in an expression, and if I right click, I also don't have the expression option. So the time speed node is not an option. What is an option though is the time stretcher node. When you make this node, uncheck the source time. This will make a keyframe, as you can see. So go to the keyframe that was made and uncheck this. And inside here, we can use an expression. What's the expression that we'll use and what it will make? I'll show this on the left side. Now currently this will stay on the frame that is selected, so by default 0. If I type in time, which is the current playhead position, this will move as normal. So it has to move at a normal speed. When the vertical scrolling is set to 0, so I'll set the scroll speed to 0 at the beginning and at this point. So we have the scroll speed set to 0 at this point and at the end. So now that we have this set, we can use this value. So transform 1.scroll speed in the time stretcher node. But we'll have to use an if statement. So we'll have if with two eyes, a bracket, transform 1.scroll speed, if this equals 0. If the scroll speed equals 0, it means that the playback has to be a normal speed. So we'll just use the time, which is the current frame. Otherwise, we will multiply the time with the scroll speed. But if we do it like so, it will be a little bit too fast. As you can see, we already have 1800 frames and it ends at this point. So to slow this down a little bit, I'll simply divide the expression by 10. So let's see what we get on the left side. Almost good. So at frame 40, the value is 40, which is okay. This is the time section of the expression. On the next frame though, the value is 0.5-ish. So to fix that, we have to go to this section and add the time. So time plus this expression. And now this transition at the beginning will be smooth. Now at the end, we have a bit of an issue. The source time is 329, and on the next frame, this jumps back to 300, which is totally correct according to the expression that I used, but it's a little bit off if you wanted a smooth playback. So I tried my best to make this work so it doesn't jump at the end, like here, but I'm not too good with Lua scripting. So this is the expression that I've used in the time stretcher node. So in the transfer node, when we have the scroll speed set to 0, then the playhead will be equal to the time. And when it's more than 0, to have a smooth transition in the beginning, we have time plus time multiplied by this transition speed divided by 10. And this works just fine in the beginning. And I tried to make this work also for the ending. So I tried using this expression. to look in the source time if this is bigger than the current playhead position. So this is simply displaying the time, and this is the value that I would need to get. So at frame 300 I would need to use 300 plus 28.9, and because I can't get this value, the last one, we jump back to this frame. And lastly, I have this expression. It's similar to the one above, except we don't display the time, we display 0 when we don't have any animation. So at the beginning we don't have animation, then we do, and just before we end, we actually get this number, 29.9. But in any case, I just can't get this value out into a variable. So I made something like this. You can set a variable that you can use and you can call it. And in here I also set the y value to be equals to z, which this is z. But if I display this value now, and as you'll see, the y value that I've specified will keep on jumping from 0 and 29.9, which is not something that we can use. Now, if you have a way how to get values in DaVinci Resolve using expressions and that they don't bug out, let me know in the comments down below. But for now, I'll simply use a time stretcher node and connect it to the transform, and connect the merge to the media out. And this is the end result that I got. Now, if you want to make this into a template that you can use in the edit page, you can simply do that. Select the transfer node, remove all of the keyframes that we have from the scroll speed and position it to the default position. Then you will select all of the nodes, right click, make a macro. Now everything that I want to animate is in the transform one. If I expand it, I'll have to go to controls. We have the invert transform, so we can change the orientation. This is the option. And then we have the scroll speed. Then simply go to File, Save as Group, Fusion, Templates, Edit. I imagine this would be an effect, so you can put it on top of a clip. So go to Effects, give it a name, save it, close it. Put this clip on. Now, if you didn't delete the keyframes, this is what we'll have. I already have an animation, as you can see. Otherwise, you'd have to make the animation in the edit page. So I can maybe go to this position, and I would basically start making animation from this point on. And why is it black? Because the video is now too short for the whole animation to finish. And why is that? That is because I've used the time stretcher node to speed up the actual video clip. If you don't use this and just have the transforms, then you won't have the issue. Now, if we just take a look what I've done with this template in a matter of seconds, now it's bugging out a little bit, and that's because I would have to cache this out. And I can also use the invert transform to make the animation change the direction. And that's how you can animate the video to go vertically, but if you want to get that real film look, you should add an overlay like Dehancer. And if you want to know more about Dehancer, I suggest you watch this video. And if you found this video helpful, you know what to do. I'm Simon, and until next time, Jackal, keep it digital.